Good evening, everybody. My name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm here in my flat in Rochester where I have been for most of the day. So I'm in my flat right now. Spent most of the day at home, but I did go out this afternoon and walk Max, my lovely Chihuahua. So at the moment, the time is 6:05 in the evening. It feels cooler than it did yesterday. Yesterday wasn't such a good day. Today's been okay so far. It's been different. I got up this morning about 8 and the groundscapers, cleanscapes were cleaning the plants and the trees, etc., down this road, and they were very noisy. We had the bin men as well, and Cleanscapes has been around most of the day, morning and afternoon. They've gone now, so we haven't got the noise of the men cutting the bushes and the plants, so to speak. So I had a delivery from Iceland, which I uploaded. Blonde lady delivered my shopping, and it was all perfect, nothing wrong. I've had the pizzas, and I've had one of the yogurts, and I'm fine. So I've got food. My mother Jennifer hasn't rung today at all. She's not rung in the morning, and she's not rung in the afternoon. So at 2 o'clock, I went downstairs with Max to take Max for a walk, and it was windy. It was a lot more cooler than it has been, but when the sun comes out it's still burning hot, but you know what I mean, it's windy. So I took Max out for a walk this afternoon. Yesterday I didn't. I stayed completely indoors, and it gets monotonous. It gets like, you know, when you're caged up indoors all the time, it gets annoying and you get stressed up. So I went out this afternoon, and I opened my mailbox, and there was a letter from Hyde Housing, and they've been pestering me for the rent. So I thought it was a notice about the rent, but it was a letter about barbecues, and they're banned. I can't have a barbecue on this balcony. It's banned because of fire hazard. So it was warning people not to have barbecues because they're a fire hazard, and what not to put on your balcony, which could be a fire hazard. Right. So that was all the post I had. I've not had any deliveries from Every or anywhere like that. I haven't had anything. I took a call from my son yesterday, and I called my mum up, and my mum was just going on about how she had arthritis in the hands, and I never asked my mum for money. I never have. So I'm coping by myself. Everything I'm paying for is my money. It's not anybody else's. It's mine. The little bit that I've got is mine. So no one can turn around and say I'm taking money off them or doing this and doing that, because I've got records of everything. Videos are taken every day, and no one is giving me any money. Nobody. So I walked up onto the field, and there was one guy in black shorts and a blue turquoise t-shirt, and he was running around the field, but he kept stopping because it was getting hot. So it's just a guy running around the field in a t-shirt and shorts, and I think there was another guy with a t-shirt and shorts. And then as I was coming off the field, I walked past Costa, and there was a girl being driven to the co-op. One of the workers was being driven to the co-op in a white car, and the number plate was Con, C-O-N, Con. So the girl had lightish brown hair, it was tied up and she had glasses, and the number plate of the white car was Con. So she went off into the co-op, and then I saw a Lyre and Co. Lyreco, Lyre and Co. And they often do that. When I'm telling the truth about my father, when I'm telling the truth about what happens to me, you either get a Lyre and Co. van come down the road, or there's something to do with the housing and the bins. I also found out something else yesterday. My sister used to call me Nez, N-E-S, Nez. And when I used to go out with my father to places, there would be a Dynes van, D-Y-N-E-S, and it used to scare me, Dynes. And it's Welsh, that's a Welsh word, Dynes. Alexa, what is Dynes in Welsh?
From wikipedia.org. Welsh is a moderately inflecting language.
So, Dynes. Let me get my other phone, because I'm learning Welsh, guys. I'm learning Welsh on Duolingo, so I just need my other phone. So, in Welsh, there's vans that come down with D-Y-N-E-S. And it's a Welsh word. So I'm going to type it in. This phone makes a load of noise, it does. Sorry, I've got to get it on Google. Try Chrome, Google Chrome. D-Y-N-E-S, Dynes. Dynes Motor Group. Erith, yeah, it's in Wales, isn't it? Dynes is a Welsh word, so if we type in Dynes in Welsh, woman. Dynes is a woman, the Welsh word for woman. D-Y-N-E-S, and you often see a Dynes van. That is Welsh for a woman. When my dad used to take me out to places, we would very often see a Dynes van. And I'm trying to learn Welsh. I only found that out last night because I've been learning Welsh on Duolingo. On this Duolingo app, I've been learning Welsh. And lesson 2 of 3, so I just go through with you. Pwy. Who? Sionedwi. Sioned. I am Sioned. Draig. Dragon. Draig is a dragon. Pwy. Ofnadwy. Dim diolch, Sioned. No thanks, Sioned.
Merch ofnadwy. Merch.
A girl.
Ofnadwy.
A terrible girl. Terrible girl.
Dwi wedi blino.
Dwi wedi blino.
Drw.
I wedi blino. I am tired. Tell me about it.
Wedi blino.
Wedi blino.
Sut ydych chi, Mrs Jones? Sut?
How are you, Mrs Jones?
Ofnadwy. Sut ydych chi, Sioned? Sut ydych chi, Sioned? Drw.
Soned. Right, I'll finish that later. But Dynes is a woman, and it's Welsh. So when you're looking at number plates on cars, on signs, these words that don't seem to mean anything, like these words that don't seem like English, they're a different language. They're a different language. It might be Welsh, it might be Polish, it might be something else, but it all gives a connection to me now, and a bit of a more understanding of what's gone on, what went up on in Gloucestershire. It's transferred down to here, and I'm beginning to understand the number plates, the Gloucestershire number plates, the Welsh writing on the vans, everything now. It's starting to click together. So, like I said, they send vans with liar down. So, you know, I'm not telling lies. My dad did abuse me. My dad was what I said he was. I'm not a liar. And I'm who I'm saying I am, and I'm telling the truth, right? But when they get like that, they start to send vans down with liar on them. Because they don't want to accept the truth. They don't want it to come out, and they want me to I'll shut my mouth and keep quiet, and it's not happening. It's not happening. And they are acting out scenarios. They are doing things that are not, to me, they're actors and actresses, and they're acting and they're getting paid for it, while I'm stuck in a council flat. Boom! That's the truth. So I walked past all this. There was an old lady with grey hair walking down the road with black shorts on like these, but she was an old lady of about 80. Right? That's what they do. They get their kicks out of doing that to me. Right? There was a couple of lads sat in a light blue car, like giggling and laughing, and I didn't walk past them. I walked round the other way. I came into my flat, and I'm tired from yesterday, so I was tired. I sat down, I ate the other pizza, and I made myself a drink, and I just tried to relax, right? Because the whole point of this is to get me all stressed out, wind me up, and watch me go. But if you're happy, then it won't happen. But yesterday I was very stressed out, and I'd spoken to my mother as well, and I got wound up in the evening, right? So I came indoors, and I'd seen the old lady. I felt fucking shit. That the whole point is for them to deprive you of sleep and everything, and I just felt terrible. I felt awful. I felt tired. I felt terrible. So I came into my flat, and I thought, let's do my hair. Let's do my hair. Let's cheer myself up, feel better. So I've done my hair, and I like it. It's a bit darker, but I like it. So I'm fine. It's come out quite nice actually, and it feels very soft. And this is my hair, but I've just made it a bit darker, that's all. So I've been listening to LBC radio, and remember that they get to know the channels you like to listen to, what you like to watch, and then they play about. So I was listening to LBC radio. They were talking about the black girl that got searched by the police wrongly. And they were talking about the words that they use to undermine and make you feel awful, because they know you watch that station, you listen to that station, you watch that program, you read that newspaper. So they start to So if you don't like something, it's on the radio, it's on the TV, it's in the newspapers. They know what you hate, they know what you don't like, they know what makes you feel insecure. But if you know that, then it doesn't bother you. Do you see what I'm saying? It's all done to make you feel awful, so you succumb to what they want you to do. And I'm not going to do anything for them. They've all been blocked on TikTok. I'm not speaking to anybody. And that's the end of that. To me, it's all fake. F-A-K-E, fake. Absolute fake bullshit. And I'm not having any of it. And they can't prove to me otherwise that it is not fake. Because I've gone into other people's live streams and the people walking down, the people walking up, you can see like it's virtual. And I know it is, but there's people that don't and they can't see it. So I'm one of these people that can see through their fakeness and their fucking bullshit. And they can't put the blinkers over me anymore. It's all fake to me. But there's other poor people that can't see what's going on. And I woke up a long time ago and I'm really not putting up with any of their bullshit anymore. I don't believe it. I know. When I'm in my flat, when I hear people talking off their balconies, I know what's going on. I know what they're doing, and I'll make a show so they can watch and listen all they like, because I don't give a shit. I know. And I haven't got a dad that comes home in the evening. My father's dead. So I don't wait all day for my dad to come home or my boyfriend or anybody, because I live by myself. I'm stuck indoors all day waiting for nobody and nothing. So I'm just going through this. And we'll give you a listen of LBC radio and see if you listen. They know that I listen to their programme. And fat, elephant, ugly. Listen out for words that would absolutely hurt me or somebody else that listened to the radio station. Alexa, LBC radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
Unlock exclusive features and content from LBC and even join the conversation. Send a comment to LBC. Just say, ask Global Player to link my account.
But that was a couple of days ago. So I don't know, what concessions they're offering. I think it's quite important to realise this isn't. I don't think any of the rebels are thinking to unseat Keir Starmer at all. It's just that we feel that the particular parts of this legislation are just simply unfair, taking money away from disabled people, putting 250,000 people into poverty, including 50,000 children. It's just not what we're here for. And we're proud members of the Labour Party, and we try and look after these type of people. So it's very much, we're just trying to do that. We're not trying to unseat the government or get anyone sacked particularly. We just think it's the wrong idea, really.
And in terms of the possible concessions on the table, if, as Aggie Shornbury was suggesting just now, it's about bringing forward that sum of money, perhaps increasing it, designed to get people into work, in other words, the carrot rather than the stick, is that the kind of thing that might change your mind?
Yeah, what I think really is that what we need to do, we have got a disparate amount of people who are economically inactive due to illness, and I think I was as a GP, I'm thinking about why is this, and I think one of the reasons is the NHS is in a terrible state at the moment, and we're just beginning to pull it out of there. But for example, there's been a lot of stress on mental health and how mental health people that's the commonest cause now, I think, of sick notes is mental health disability. money, but actually, as a GP, if I try and refer someone for mental health treatment, it takes 4, 5, 6 months to get that treatment. So, no wonder they're not getting better, actually. And I think what we really should do is, put that money in early on, support GP support. There's lots of innovative schemes around people with sick notes getting to see occupational therapists, for example, almost immediately. Look at how we can get them back into work, because work, as everyone admits, work is really good for people, and it's certainly really good for people with mental health issues. And I would also point out that our main sticking point here is these personal independence payments, and a lot of these go to disabled people who are working, and if we withdraw them, they might not even be able to work. So it's all sort of slightly all higgledy-piggledy, I think, and we just need to have a real rethink about it.
I've certainly heard that last point again and again. So if the Prime Minister calls you, as perhaps he will, I'm sure he's listening to the show and thinking, I better call that Simon over. If he calls you, what is the single thing that they could do to this particular bill that would persuade you that they had really listened, they had taken on board your concerns?
Well, I think the two things that I would really, want from this is a reconsideration of these PIP assessment with PIP, really, because I think that's what's putting a lot of people with disability. It's going to put them into poverty. So we need to just think again about this point system, a review of exactly how we assess that. And I think the other thing is we need the investment about getting people back into work, back into economic activity, right here and now. And actually, the two are linked, because I think if you really invest in getting people back to work, the people on PIP will go down naturally anyway. So those two things I think are what I would really be looking for.
Well, it makes a lot of sense to me. We hear the government are in listening mode, so I'm sure they've been listening to you. Simon Ofer, thank you so much for talking to me tonight. Now, of course, one of the reasons the Prime Minister has not been giving this crucial issue the attention it needs from him is that he has been drawn into the important, but also, no doubt, intoxicating world of foreign policy, most recently at the NATO summit in the Netherlands. To get a view of Starmer on the world stage, let's now turn to Baroness Cathy Ashton, the EU's former High Representative for Foreign Affairs and, indeed, Vice President. Cathy, what a wonderful titles you've had, like gold braid all around you. But it's great to have you in the studio. Keir Starmer has been absent from Westminster a lot of the time recently, for weeks and months. Do you think it's been worth it for this country in terms of the way he has performed on the world stage?
Foreign policy is domestic. If you want to look at any of the problems we face as a nation, you need an external approach to resolve them. People talk about migration, people talk about trade, people talk about wanting to go on holiday, to have the best possible opportunities and so on. All of it requires us to have strong foreign policy. So inevitably, all leaders have to spend a degree of time out of the country dealing with that.
But it's been especially so for Keir Starmer, hasn't it? We've had the Donald Trump endless drama which goes on and on and on, and what he said about Canada and the rest of it. We've had the Ukraine war and trying to get an alliance together for that in Western Europe, with the Americans potentially pulling out. And we've had the the Israel-Iran war going on, perhaps now over, I suspect not. So he's had pressures on him like very few British Prime Ministers have had.
It certainly has. It's been an incredibly volatile time. And an important part of what he's been trying to do really is play a role both with the United States in terms of being the reliable partner, but also with our European allies, especially with France and Germany. And I think he's played that very well. The challenge he's got now is how to translate that clear sense of what he's doing internationally, I think, into the domestic arena and give people what you said earlier, the vision thing.
So do you think we need a clearer sense from Keir Starmer of where he wants to take this country, to put it very simply, his ambitions for us all?
I think if you've got a narrative, people will put up with a lot because they can see the narrative, they can see where you're going. Everybody wants the best for themselves, their families, their children, and so on. And they'll do anything and everything. They will sacrifice if they can see that there are real possibilities, real sunny uplands ahead. And I just think there's a bit more to be done to spell that out.
I rather agree. Let's look at the darker side, if you don't mind, for a second, because we are quite vulnerable as a country, financially and economically, to these big gusts coming in from abroad. And if the Iranian situation gets worse suddenly again and the oil price goes scooting up, that could completely overwhelm all the government's calculations.
Absolutely. It's why it's so important to do the best possible deals we can, especially with our European colleagues and allies. Stability in growing the economy is everything. It's everything in terms of being able to fulfill what he wants to do on defence. It's everything in terms of what he wants to do to support people domestically.
And what do you make of this recent NATO summit? Because some people, particularly in the States, are saying it was a pivotal moment. It was the moment where Donald Trump finally got what he wanted with NATO. Things will never be the same again. We're all heading to 5%. It changes our little bit of the world quite dramatically.
Well, I think Donald Trump has been the person that's been able to kind of push that. But presidents since JFK have been arguing that Europe should do more, and JFK's language was pretty choice at the time.
But we didn't.
Well, but what's really driving this is not actually the rhetoric of an American president, however important that is. It's actually the threats that we're facing, especially looking at the war in Europe that's going on with Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the consequences potentially for where that could lead, as well as a real understanding that wherever these conflicts begin, they don't stay there, they move. And the challenge then is to be able to be ready to deal with that.
If we are going to rebuild our defences in the way that military experts say we absolutely have to, and get the drones and all the other defences and the missile defences we're going to need, we are going to have to pay more taxes. Do you think the British public is anywhere near accepting that absolutely fairly straightforward equal sign between what we need to do and what they need to pay? Because I think they're not.
I'm not in Rachel Reeves' shoes trying to work out how on earth you do this, the combination of where you get money from. I'm personally of the view that they need to do quite a lot more to get economic growth moving where they can. And that's certainly, I know, top of the agenda. When they look at how they're going to work out this increased expenditure, including on infrastructure, which of course is a different set of things and can come under different budgets even, then I think you'll start to see a programme and a plan. And back to my point about you need a vision, a project, a thing that you can look at, then people can understand what it is they're being asked to do.
Well, we're asking the Prime Minister to listen more and to speak more. Let's hope he is paying attention to us. Cathy Ashton, Baroness Ashton, thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you.
Coming up, I'm going to be speaking to a current EU Commissioner about how climate change could increase the likelihood of war, plus an alarming study linking the popular weight loss jabs with a potentially fatal disorder. You are listening to Tonight with Andrew Marr, and the time is 6:32. Elizabeth Secker has your headlines.
Two Metropolitan Police officers who strip-searched a schoolgirl in Hackney in 2020 have been sacked. The disciplinary hearings found they were guilty of gross misconduct over what happened to the 15-year-old known as Child Q. The Prime Minister's hinted he could make some concessions as he tries to rescue his welfare reform bill in the face of a major rebellion by his own MPs. More than 120 backbenchers have signed an amendment seeking to block the plans to cut some disability payments. 7 people are being treated in hospital after a bus carrying sixth form students crashed into the River Itchen in Hampshire. 2 people are in a serious condition after the double-decker came off the road in Eastleigh. LBC weather, it's clouding over in the north this evening with rain spreading east overnight. Clear spells elsewhere, lows of 10 degrees.
LBC This Morning.
Right guys, I've got to go out shortly to walk my dog, and we've got the... Do you remember when I did a live stream, anybody that watched TikTok, and a motorbike or moped, whatever it was, drove onto the pavement? Well, we've got those lads again, those lads on bicycles and mopeds. So when I go outside, we're going to have all those kids going up and down the road on mopeds and bicycles. So wish me luck and see you later.